A very good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. So we continue tracking the biggest story today, Indian Air Force's airstrike on Jaish-e-Mohammed terror camp in Balakot. All the details on that big story coming up in the next 30 minutes, starting with the headlines. 12 days after Pulwama attack, 12 Indian Air Force Mirage 2000 jets crossed the line of control, strike multiple terror pads in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Many Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists reportedly killed. Biggest training camp of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Balakot destroyed. India says airstrike after Pakistan failed to act against terrorists. Foreign Secretary briefs media, says a non-military preemptive action taken by Indian Air Force at JEM camps. Prime Minister Modi chairs Cabinet Committee on Security. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj calls all-party meet at 5 p.m. Cutting across party lines, political leaders support the government on cross-border strikes. All opposition parties come together to fight the menace of terrorism. And President Ramnath Kovind confers the Gandhi Peace Prize for the years 2015 to 2018. Individuals and institutions honoured for contribution to social, economic and political transformation. The biggest story of the day, India strikes back 12 days after the Pulwama terror attack. Laser-guided bombs used in 20-minute-long airstrike. Jaish-e-Mohammed, the terror launch pads targeted in Balakot. 12 Mirage 2000 fighter jets carried out strikes, and the MEA has said that many terrorists have been killed in the attack. MEA also says that the camp led by Masood Azhar's brother-in-law has been destroyed. Remember, airstrike comes after Pakistan failed to act against terrorists. India has said Pakistani drone shot down on Kutch border. BSF is also on high alert along the international border. So that is the big breaking story that we are bringing to you right now. Since morning, 12 days after the Pulwama attack, the Indian Air Force today carried out multiple airstrikes at the terror launch pads at various places in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And briefing the media, Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale said that India struck the biggest training camp of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Balakot. A large number of Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists have been eliminated along with control rooms of Jaish-e-Mohammed and some other infrastructure. The precise extent of the damage inflicted on the ground, however, is still being ascertained. The Jaish-e-Mohammed, remember, has been active in Pakistan for the last 2 decades. And ME today said that it has been responsible for a series of terror attacks. And earlier news agency ANI quoted Indian Air Force sources saying that the attack took place at 3:30 a.m. when a group of Mirage 2000 fighter jets struck a major terrorist camp along the line of control and completely destroyed it with 1,000 kilograms of bombs.
On the 14th of February 2019, a suicide terror attack was conducted by a Pakistan-based terrorist organization, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, leading to the martyrdom of 40 brave Jawans of the CRPF. The Jaish-e-Mohammed has been active in Pakistan for the last 2 decades, and it is led by Masood Azhar with its headquarters in Bahawalpur. This organization, which is proscribed by the United Nations, has been responsible for a series of terrorist attacks, including on the Indian Parliament in December 2001 and the Pathankot Air Base in January 2016. Information regarding the location of training camps in Pakistan and in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir has been provided to Pakistan from time to time. Pakistan, however, denies their existence. The existence of such massive training facilities capable of training hundreds of jihadis could not have functioned without the knowledge of the Pakistan authorities. India has been repeatedly urging Pakistan to take action against the Jaish-e-Mohammed, to prevent jihadis from being trained and armed inside Pakistan. Pakistan has taken no concrete action to dismantle the infrastructure of terrorism on its soil. Credible intelligence was received that the Jaish-e-Mohammed was attempting other suicide terror attacks in various parts of the country, and the Fidaiyin jihadis were being trained for this purpose. In the face of imminent danger, a preemptive strike became absolutely necessary. In an intelligence-led operation in the early hours of today, India struck the biggest training camp of the Jaish-e-Mohammed in Balakot. In this operation, a very large number of Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists, trainers, senior commanders, and groups of jihadis who were being trained for Fidaiyin action were eliminated. This facility at Balakot was headed by Maulana Yusuf Azhar, alias Ustad Ghori, the brother-in-law of Masood Azhar, chief of the JEM. The government of India is firmly and resolutely committed to taking all necessary measures to fight the menace of terrorism. Hence, this non-military preemptive action was specifically targeted at the Jaish-e-Mohammed camp. The selection of the target was also conditioned by our desire to avoid civilian casualties. The facility is located in thick forest on a hilltop far away from any civilian presence. As the strike has taken place only a short while ago, we are awaiting further details. The government of Pakistan had made a solemn commitment in January 2004 not to allow its soil or territory under its control to be used for terrorism against India. We expect that Pakistan lives up to its public commitment and takes follow-up action to dismantle all JEM and other camps and hold the terrorists accountable for their actions.
And the Cabinet Committee on Security met at the residence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi after the Indian Air Force carried out airstrikes in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, Home Minister Rajnath Singh and Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman were present at this meeting. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and other top officials of the Prime Minister's office and the security apparatus were also present at this meeting. All right, let's get all the details. We have with us our reporters who've been joining us since morning for more details on that very big story. We have with us Akhilesh Suman joining us from New Delhi on the phone line. Also, Panchanan Mishra is now joining us right from Vijay Chowk. And for more on this story, we are also joined in by our guest, Air Vice Marshal retired P.K. Srivastav. Thank you so much for all of you for joining. Let's first go across to Panchanan Mishra. Panchanan, Foreign Secretary confirming that India struck the biggest training camp of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Balakot. A large number of terrorists have been eliminated. Just take us through the key points made by the Foreign Secretary in the press briefing and what are the updates that you have been getting so far. All right, let's first go across to Akhilesh Suman. Akhilesh, we just heard Foreign Secretary making that big statement on confirming the government's action. What was significant really was the use of the phrase non-military preemptive attack, meaning that it was not really an act of aggression, but was simply taking on the terror group that had been targeting India and in fact was planning more strikes.
That is very important, language, Eswara, because, in case of military action, it could have been understood to be very different. It could have been understood that there is a aggression against the military. But this has been explicitly been clear that India has attacked the terrorist camp of Jaish-e-Mohammed. India did not attack any civilian who are living there, and India did not attack any military base of Pakistan Army. So in that way, the case is very clear that India knew that after Pulwama attack also Jaish-e-Mohammed was trying to launch more attacks inside India. And more attacks inside India would have been also inflicted very heavy cost against Indian civilians because, the way India is the second most populous country in the world, you don't know where they will bomb. So that is why, India had said that we had made a preemptive strike, because we knew that there are training suicide attackers that will be ready to come inside India. And in that case, you should not consider, and the world community should not consider it as any aggression against Pakistan. It is against aggression. It is against stopping any further, attack inside India by the terrorists. So
Right.
this makes, diplomatically, strategically very strong that you have launched an attack against, non-state criminals who are associated with just terrorism and who are acting against India time and again. And Foreign Secretary has made it very clear that many a times Pakistan has, committed that it will not allow any terrorist group to launch any attack against India, but it had never been obeyed. And he has also made it explicitly clear the type of terrorist attack that had been held from inside the Pakistani territory. It cannot happen without the explicit support of Pakistani army.
Yes.
So in that case, India had made two distinctions. One, that Pakistani army is supporting the terrorists, and two, we have attacked the terrorist camp. So it gives India an aid to say to the world that we have, negated and we have nullified an impending attack against India. So it should be taken in this spirit. This is not any attack against any military establishment of Pakistan or
Yes.
against any civilians.
Yes.
And as a result, that we are seeing that, slogans are being shouted inside National Assembly of Pakistan against Imran Khan, because it is a very slowdown inside Pakistan also, that people had been thinking Imran Khan, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, everyone was talking in big way. And at the time when we were talking about peace, we are talking about opening Kartarpur corridor. This type of attack in Jammu and Kashmir has come, and this has really foiled all efforts of peace and tranquility inside this region. So I think the onus goes to Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan and also Pakistan Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi, who talks big, but he does the same thing that Pakistani army and terrorist group had been doing for a long time, attack against India and try every opportunity to damage India. So in that way, India has given a very big, message to Pakistan,
Yes.
that we can come and we can do preemptive strike. So preemptive strike is a new chapter in India-Pakistan relationship. Till
Yes.
now, we were doing, after something. But when we know that some attack is coming to us, we could attack and we could nullify. So it's a new chapter in India fight against terrorism, that we can go into preemptive strike. And preemptive strike has been justified by many powers in the world,
Yes.
including America. They have told that we have the right to foil any attack against America, and many other countries have also said. Even Russia said that India has all the right to defend itself. So I think the message goes very clear to all powers in the world that India is doing preemptive strike. So now it is time for friends of Pakistan and
Right.
Pakistan to be on alert and to stop such type of action that can go against India. So Foreign Secretary has given very clear and explicit message to Pakistan that we hope that it will stop all those nuisance inside Indian territories.
Absolutely, Akhilesh. So very, very clearly worded, a very nuanced statement really by the Foreign Secretary. Let's now go across to our colleague Panchanan Mishra, who's joining us live from Vijay Chowk. Panchanan, now as Akhilesh is also telling us that Foreign Secretary had, gave a very nuanced statement on all the details of India's striking big training camp of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Balakot. A large number of terrorists eliminated. Just you take us through what are the other key points that have been made by Foreign Secretary in the press briefing. Of course, after that press briefing, we saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi also, heading a CCS meeting, and a political all-party meet really has also been called. That's wherein Sushma Swaraj will be briefing all the political parties on that big development. What more details can you give us now?
Yeah, Shorya, Akhilesh tells us very, very briefly and regarding these Foreign Secretary's briefing. But before it, after the strike around 3:30 a.m. in the morning, there was a CCS meeting in the morning around 9:30, and there was finance minister and foreign minister also under the chairmanship, and defense minister was also there, and the meeting goes for around 1 hour, and NSA was also there to brief all the details. And after this, there was a briefing of this from MEA. And it has made very clear that there was a preemptive measure to get this response from Indian Air Force to just attack the Pakistan's terrorist base in Balakot, the Balakot, which is a very crucial base of these Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists who performed these terrorist attacks from Parliament attack to this Pathankot and this Uri. And also, after this Pulwama, India, the Prime Minister and also the whole government has made it very clear that the armed forces has been given full freedom to respond. And today we have seen that Indian Air Force responded very precisely and very heavily. And I want to tell you that the Mirage planes, aircraft which is being used for this performing this surgical strike part 2 was very much specifically chosen because the precise nature of its attack and the very laser guided bombs it used for this strike. It came down very heavily on these terrorists, and we are learning that around 200 to 300 terrorists may be killed in this operation. However, it will be come later after the full details government will take. But for all this, the government also has called this all-party meeting, and Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj is going to brief all the political parties and opposition parties around 5 p.m. Today. And government earlier has made it clear that whatever action there will be, it will be informed to all the political parties. And we have seen in this time in surgical strike part 2 that all the parties across the party line has supported not only government but lauded the Indian Air Force and its capability. So we have seen there a unity in this country, and Pakistan has been responded very well on this terror attack after this Pulwama attack.
Right, Panchani, you stay with us. We'll just come back to you. Let's get more perspective on the story. We are joined in by Air Vice Marshal PK Srivastav joining us in the studio. Air Marshal, looking at the strike really that India carried out today, indeed it is a clear message to Pakistan that an option really has been opened. Possibility, of airstrikes. It is probably the first time after the 1971 Indo-Pak war that Indian Air Force has actually crossed the line of control and went into that territory and carried out these strikes.
So the hot chase, what we call it, in this case, of course, we made a strike across the border, was the sense of the nation for a very long time, post attack on Parliament, and then Pathankot, and then Pulwama. It was something which Jaish-e-Mohammed was carrying out with impunity. Now, it had to be contained militarily, apart from all the peace initiatives what we keep talking about. Unless you contain militarily, you contain the power, and every time Pakistan said that they have nothing from their soil and they want actionable intelligence. Now, in this case, it was so blatant that Jaish-e-Mohammed is owning up the responsibility.
Yes.
And Prime Minister of Pakistan goes on saying that I don't have actionable intelligence. What further you need? And the camps are there, and camps are in very vast areas. They cannot function there without the authority and the sanction of the Pakistani army. Now, if you take that backdrop, it was absolutely necessitated that we need to respond. We need to protect ourselves for the sake of our own citizens, for the sake of our pride, for the sake of our nation state. So this was something which was coming for a long time. I must commend the political will of the government, because it was something which was, with the political will, Air Force was ready. I know even post-Parliament attack, they were ready to go in. They were told to contain and not really go across the border. So this issue had to be resolved. A message has to be conveyed to Jaish-e-Mohammed that if you strike, we'll strike you hard.
Right.
And that is the language these organizations would understand and will probably honor. It's a matter of what you call force versus force. You need to have some force behind the peace. If there's no force behind your peace, you really are not talking the terms anybody or that kind of organization can understand.
Right.
So in backdrop, this surgical strike or this kind of response, nation's response, is most welcoming. It was needed. It has been done. I'm really proud of the brave hearts who have carried it out. It was against a very risky scenario, but yes, the risk had to be taken. That's part of life.
And Air Marshal, what do we know of this Mirage 2000 aircraft? Because that is reported to have been used in this strike. Because we understand that it is one of Indian Air Force's most versatile and deadliest aircraft. In fact, it is also reported to have been used in the Kargil War. What do we know about this aircraft?
Yeah, it's a multi-role aircraft. When I say multi-role, that means it can be used for air-to-air combat. It can be used for air-to-ground missions. And it's a French origin aircraft that all of us know. And it was inducted in the Indian Air Force in 1984.
Okay.
It can carry out very precise attacks, which is the part of the diktat or part of the doctrine we have in Indian Air Force, that if you want to strike some target, we strike only that target. Therefore, laser-guided bombs were used. It's very versatile, it's agile, and it's got certain degree of stealth features too. That means the response of the air defense network of Pakistani air defense network can be slowed down. And that we saw in this strike too, that the response of air defense network of Pakistan was hardly there. The mission could be carried out and the aircraft came back absolutely safely despite all kind of intentions and the prior intentions of the Pakistani polity and the Pakistani armed forces that we are all ready. And they also carried out some kind of exercises in between, going around and saying, yes, we are ready. And we could see in media a lot of F-16s flying around and trying to say that we are war ready. In that kind of backdrop, the mission was carried out surgically without any attack on our own aircraft. And the 12 of them going is not a small number. So that shows that yes, this was the weapon of choice and it did its job really very well.
Absolutely. So job well done. You stay with us, sir. We'll just come back to you. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has briefed President Ramnath Kovind as well as Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu after India carried out strikes across the line of control. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has also called a meeting at 5 p.m. today, inviting the opposition leaders at the Ministry of External Affairs to brief them on India's action against the Pulwama attack. Meanwhile, Indian Air Force has also been put on high alert all defense systems along the international border as well as the line of control to respond to any possible action by Pakistan Air Force. And sources in the Union Home Ministry have said that the BSF has been also put on high alert along the international border. The administration and police have been put on high alert in Punjab as well near the border areas. And political leaders cutting across party lines have lauded the Indian Air Force. Congress President Rahul Gandhi lauded the pilots of the Indian Air Force after India said that it attacked terror bases in Pakistan. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal also saluted the Indian Air Force pilots. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said that Indian Air Force also meant India's amazing fighters. Nationalist Congress Party Chief or the NCP Chief Sharad Pawar has said that we salute the Indian Air Force for giving befitting reply to the terrorists. And Union Minister Prakash Javadekar said on India's strike on terror camps over the line of control that necessary step has been taken by the Indian Air Force.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कहा था कि कैसे कब और कितना करना ये सेना को छूट दी है और सेना ने जबरदस्त पराक्रम किया है, उनको बहुत बहुत बधाई। अभी तो यहाँ तक जो आज किया है, पिछले 10 दिन में जो पुलवामा के आतंकी साजिश करता थे उनको मार गिराया 100 घंटे में। इन मोस्ट फेवर्ड नेशन का दर्जा खत्म किया, 200% ड्यूटी लगाई, जो अलगाववादियों का सिक्योरिटी के बारे में निर्णय लिया और पानी जो भारत के हिस्से का भी जा रहा था न जाने देने का निर्णय किया और आज ये सेना का महापराक्रम किया है, तो निश्चित देश भर में एक माहौल है, मोदी जी पर लोगों का विश्वास है। ये बहुत जबरदस्त देश के रक्षा के लिए आवश्यक कदम उठाया है सेना ने और सेना को इस तरह के कदम उठाने की छूट प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने दी थी। अब सेना के पीछे पूरा देश खड़ा है।
All right, let's go across to our colleague Akhilesh Suman. Akhilesh, there's something very important that I need to ask, and that is, the reaction really coming in from Pakistan. Because in the morning, of course, there was a tweet by Major General Asif Ghafoor where he had said that Indian aircrafts intruded into Pakistan from Muzaffarabad sector. However, he claimed that there were no casualties and damages reported in the attack. That is what the tweet said. Now, at the same time, Sushma Swaraj is going to, China for the Russia-India-China trilateral meeting on Wednesday. So it will be very interesting to see how that really meeting also pans out, because she's also meeting with the Chinese State Councillor Wang Yi and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. And, China has been blocking our, India's efforts to block Masood Azhar really in United Nations and other foreign organizations as well.
Right, Aishwarya, it is a very, difficult task now for Pakistan because the news was broken by Pakistani side only when Mr. Ghafoor said that Indian Air Force came inside and, just dropped some bomb. So it means that he has accepted that, yes, an action has been done against the terrorists inside Pakistan. But it is very difficult for them to accept that any damage has been done against the terrorists, so they told that there is no damage. But that damage has been done, it has been done in last surgical strike also. So if there was no damage, then why now Mr. Qureshi, who is the foreign minister of Pakistan, he went and briefed Prime Minister Imran Khan, and he told that it is an aggression, a violation of LOC. So all these things are going on in Pakistan, and also in National Assembly, slogans are being shouted against Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, who talks very loud about peace, and he always make a scapegoat of Indian election. So at the time of Indian election, even before the Indian election, if some terrorist act is happening, India has the right to not to think about the timing. India has the right to think about how to eliminate the terrorists, and that is what India has done rightly. That it has eliminated the oldest and biggest camp of Jaish-e-Mohammed that had been inflicting, terrorist attacks inside the country for a long time, for more than 2 decades. It is doing. So the message is very explicit for Pakistan, and the message is also explicit to the world. And that is why, though RIC has been organized much earlier, but the timing becomes very important because India is going from the, upper hand, giving the message to both China and Pakistan, China and Russia, that yes, there was a terrorist attack inside India, and we have, destroyed the terrorist camp inside Pakistan. So now they have to either to issue a statement, or they have to think about it, how to eliminate the terrorist menace in this whole area, because Russia, India, China had made this voting for a long time, and they have to also discuss not only global issues, but they also have to discuss the regional issues and issues that is, hurting each other's members.
Absolutely.
Russia,
so
India,
Pakistan
China.
really has been cornered. India has confirmed today a non-military preemptive strike on major Jaish-e-Mohammed terror camp in Balakot, and Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale said that the target was chosen to avoid civilian casualties. Of course, this is one big story that we'll keep tracking through the day. I would like to thank our colleagues Akhilesh Suman and Panchanan Mishra, who joined us from the Vijay Chowk. At the same time, I would also like to thank Air Marshal P.K. Srivastava for all the updates on that big story. We'll keep tracking all those developments. Time to take a very short break. Updates continue on the other side of the break as well. Stay tuned.